You are listening to the Cattle Call podcast. This is the place where computer-aided design and drafting meets humor and practicality, with a touch of business acumen thrown in for fun. Jim and Rocco, the owners of Zentech Consultants, the premier U.S. technology consulting firm for architecture, engineering, construction, and manufacturing, discuss the fascinating world of CAD with some humor and some honesty. The Cattle Call podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Cattle Call podcast with Jim and Rocco from Zentech Consultants. I am Jim, your extraordinarily loud and very silly host, and with me, as always, is my partner,
the tall, dark, and handsome one, Rocco.
And he keeps trying for that, and it never works. Just never works. He's the inverse of all of those things, and this is why, because he keeps trying, I have to make him suffer through the engineering joke of the week. Okay, Rocco, here's a very simple one for you, right? You ready for this? Why did the engineer cross the road?
Why?
Because that's what they did last year. Yes, I know. They get worse every week. And that is the plan, to torture you. But however, to get away from torturing Rocco, as fun as it is, we're getting today's topic. And we have a special guest with us today. We have Julie Keverian, who is the North American Technical Manager from BricsCAD, is back on the show yet again. So, Julie, thank you for being silly enough to come back and be with us here today.
Oh, I'm happy to be here.
I don't know why you got stuck doing like product launches with us last week. You did a demo with Rocco. Are you not tired of talking to us yet?
Never. If
only my wife would say that. She's been tired of talking to me for 30 years. All right, guys. So for those of you who haven't heard the cool news yet, BricsCAD V24 just dropped. And Julie is kind of here to fill us in on all the cool and exciting new tools that we have to look forward to in this version. And I think particularly around the BricsCAD Pro system, which, you know, honestly, it's the most commonly used option for those of us in the design and construction world. But before we get into that and all those cool details, let's find a little bit more for Julie for our new listeners who don't remember from being on here 100 times before. So, Julie, why don't you tell folks a little bit about your background and what your role is these days over at Bricsys?
All right. Well, you got it right. I'm the technical manager for North America. So that means I do everything from pre-sales and post-sales and everything in between. I started out my career with a degree in architecture, so don't hold that against me. But then I spent time in real estate and construction and technology, working for both large and small companies all around. And I've been with Bricsys for 4 years now.
There you go. So very, very varied background, which is always helpful in these kind of scenarios. So look, you know, I think the first thing that all of us always look at when we get a new product release is, you know, what cool new tools have been added. You know, we want to see if there's anything that's going to have a really positive impact on our daily work, right? Saving us, you know, lots of time or maybe just alleviating some process headaches. And I absolutely get that. And I freely admit that it is always where I start too, even though maybe it's not the only important thing. But let's go there together and let's start this off. So, Julie, what are the new tool additions for BricsCAD Pro, that really stand out to you in this V24 release?
There are a lot, but let me just talk about three. One is the new Quick Calc panel, and that is to perform calculations right inside BricsCAD. So it has all the basic features of a scientific calculator, as well as geometric functions, unit conversions, and variables. So it's a panel right in the BricsCAD window. Then, on a totally different bent, is the Sheet Set Manager panel is also new. Now, not only is the panel been redesigned and upgraded, but it includes a new Drawing View Manager to drag and drop saved model views right into a drawing, into a sheet set. And it also supports multi-user access. And as far as a learning area, there are hands-on tutorials that make it easy to move to BricsCAD. And this is new on the new start page. These tutorials are tailored to a user's experience. So there's a 2-question survey And then lessons pop up in a floating dialogue right on the screen. And at the same time, it opens a sample drawing automatically that the user can then try out the exercise themselves. So it's pretty cool.
That's a great addition. I really like the drag and drop for the sheet set manager. That's a great tool. I saw that. I was like, yeah, I like that. I've been looking for that for a long time. So I'm a big fan of that one. So, all right. So a little less glamorous, I guess, but maybe even more important in daily use are kind of the updates to the performance and to the user interface. And I get, right, a lot of us gloss over those, but the reality is, right, that an update that can shave 5 or 10 seconds off a process that we do 30 or more times a day, I mean, that can really provide a lot of time savings, over the course of a project. So, I think it's important that you guys understand the effort that BricsCAD has put into, making as many things in the system as they can run faster and more reliably. So Julie, what are those key interface updates and performance boosts that really shine in V24?
So I mentioned that those hands-on tutorials are just one part of the major updates on the start page, because we start drawings, we create drawings how many times a day, right? So it's easier to access and see the drawing templates to create new drawings. Another feature request from our customers is the ability to display the list of recent files in a grid or a table view, and to be able to pin those recent files as well for easy access so they stay at the top of your recent list. BricsCAD version 24 overall, though, is just faster from the time you launch BricsCAD to get to the drawing window, to the time it takes to select and deselect entities within a drawing, and performance in general has been improved. Now, you might remember in version 23, we introduced a new beta ribbon, and this is one of those interface updates. Well, that ribbon is out of beta, and it is the default ribbon now, so it has a cleaner layout and command presentation. So heads up, yes, that does mean that there are some changes to the layout of the ribbon where commands are, where there are some new tabs, and things have moved around a bit. But don't worry, because one of the new features of the new ribbon is a search tool, which makes it really easy to search for a command, and BricsCAD will highlight those search results right on the ribbon, so it's easy to see what tab that command resides on. Now, we've done a lot of updates to our panels based on a Qt, which is a framework that our development team uses, and this makes it easy to create and update these panels, and then it works across all the platforms. So one of the goals from version 24 was to deliver a consistent experience to all of our users on all platforms. Now, other interface and performance boosts, we have to talk about our AI tools, right? So there have been many improvements to some of those AI tools, including Blockify, the Block Convert tool, which used to be called Parametric Block Assist, is now called Block Convert, and we've made some improvements to that. And we introduced Overkill in 23, and Overkill is now included as a task in the Drawing Health Manager. And there's quite a few improvements to Drawing Health, especially around how to manage those existing routines as well as create new routines, much easier, much cleaner. And also, there's an option that you can, as you're creating a new routine, you can actually try it out before you save it.
That's nice. That's nice. So you'd be able to see on screen what is going to be the impact of that before you have to save and edit and then come back and undo and redo. Simple things, but man, they make such a big difference in the day-to-day. That's awesome. Cool. All right, so I guess one thing that I always try to focus on with BricsCAD, right? Regardless of the release, right? It's something I talk to with clients all the time, and it's the ease of use, I guess, that people have when they're moving to BricsCAD from other CAD systems. So Rocco, let's wake you up, right? And we always try to stress to the clients how easy it is to move to BricsCAD, but I'm wondering how much of an impact that really has, right? How much consideration do people really put towards that ease of transition and the ease of learning for their users with a system like BricsCAD?
Yeah, it's it definitely comes up often, and people want a cheaper, better, faster solution, right? No matter what you do, but if you're going to move to a solution that's going to decrease your productivity and take forever to get ramped up with how busy this industry is, it's just a formula for trouble. So I see it all the time with BricsCAD. New customers, folks that are transitioning over from AutoCAD or running through the trial BricsCAD that you can download, by the way, off of our website, and they say all the time, this is AutoCAD, and it's an easy transition for them, and with V24 it just made even easier, like Julie's describing with the built-in tutorials and structure. So ease of transition is important, that's for sure.
Okay. So Julie, if we kind of stay on that topic for a minute, right? How much on your side, right? How much effort does BricsCAD put into making their product feel familiar to people, right? And what are the tools, I guess, in V24 that are focused on, making that familiarity even more simple for them?
Well, Jim, that is one of the objectives behind version 24, was to deliver a familiar and compatible CAD experience to help users get comfortable and productive with BricsCAD very quickly. So we spend a lot of time on that. And again, this includes enhancements to existing tools and bringing in new tools as well. So QDIMs are back. We had them a couple of years ago and we brought them back, improved them. You can very quickly create a series of dimensions based on what you select. Performance around drawing views, view base and base view, has also been improved. So again, that helps. And trim has been improved. Segments are highlighted to make it easier to trim and extend those entities. So again, it works more like what they're used to using in that other CAD program. And we've made also numerous improvements to tables. Tables are so important to our users. They use them quite a bit. One of the improvements is the Smart Cell copy, so you can easily copy cells within a table within BricsCAD just by dragging the bottom right grip of that selected cell. And then we've added some new features. Again, they've been on a wish list. So again, making this more familiar, we now have the ability to print to raster, either BIM, BMP, JPEG, PNG, and TIFF. And we've included the printer configurations for each of those. And another new tool to us is the annotation monitor, also known as Anno Monitor, to see any of those disassociated dimensions, leaders, and M leaders that show up with the little yellow exclamation point. So again, making it look and feel like that other CAD system has been a big part of version 24.
Yeah, I think it pays huge dividends for all of the users. All right, so I tell you what, let's get a break in here to hear from today's sponsor, and when we get back, I want to get into some of the industry-related tools, I guess I'll call them, that BricsCAD has really enhanced in this V24 release. All right, so stand by, folks. We'll be back in just a minute with more of the Cattle Call Podcast. All right, everybody. The sponsor for today's episode of the Cattle Call Podcast is Matterport. Now, you guys know Matterport. They've been all over the world. We see them all the time getting, 3D laser scans and photogrammetric digital twins for all of our real estate development houses and all of that great stuff we see out there. But what I really want you guys to understand about Matterport is that it does so much more than just those static models. One of the really amazing things that you can do with Matterport is you can integrate links and hyperlinks to dashboards and controls. We can link to videos. We can link to warranty information, manufacturing information. Think of it like this. If you could go into a digital twin model, have your clients and your coworkers walk through it, pick a piece of equipment, click on it, and get all the information on the make, the model, the manufacturer, when it was last updated, how much does it cost, how do I order a new one? Anything that you could conceive of, whether it's in a manufacturing space, a facility management system, or on the construction job site. We can do all of that and so much more in Matterport. It's not just 3D scanning, it's a lot more. So Rocco, why don't you tell these folks how we work with Matterport and how they can reach out to find more?
Yeah, whether it's the integration with Bluebeam, products like Bluebeam or Procore, or even Adobe, we can help you from the consulting standpoint. If you're looking for help on the scanning end, we can help. If you're looking to buy the cameras, we can help. So feel free to reach out to us. Website is zentechconsultants.net. Give us a ring, 866-824-4459, or drop us an email, sales@zentechconsultants.net.
There you go, folks. Matterport, so much more than you ever thought it was, and sponsoring the Cattle Call Podcast. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Cattle Call Podcast. We're talking with Julie Keverian of Bricsys about the new features in the V24 release of BricsCAD, which just dropped last week. And in this half of the show, I want to hit on the updates related to, I guess, specific work processes like, civil and mechanical and, BIM 3D, types of work, right? Because BricsCAD has taken what I think is a unique approach of making all of their vertical design tools either work right inside of or just directly integrate flawlessly with their base BricsCAD system, which is just great from the user end. So Julie, let's start with the space, I guess, nearest and dearest to my own heart, which is the civil side. What are the civil site related tools that you guys have added or improved in V24?
Well, we continue to improve that civil tool set for use by civil and survey users. You might remember there were significant improvements and new features in BricsCAD version 23.2, and we've continued on that trend with 24. And remember also that the civil tools are part of the BricsCAD Pro Edition. So we focused a lot on TIN service modeling and the import and export of data from almost any data format. Now, many improvements also to the TIN surface UI so that it's easier to learn and faster to use. So you can set weeding and supplementing factors as well as mid-ordinate distance. We have new UI for label styles, again, making it faster and easier to standardize labels across drawings. There's an entire toolbar with transparent commands, and that's been added under the civil menu group. These include bearing and distance, azimuth and distance, station and offset, point number, point and object. And last but not least, we've added a GIS tab right in the Civil Explorer, which has the list of all the GIS layers in the drawing, again, helping you manage their visibility. So what this also does, though, is it improves the round tripping in that GIS workflow.
And that's amazing. I mean, for those of you out there who are using what Julie calls that other CAD product, think about that. Think about what you're doing in a base AutoCAD system and its limitations compared to what you can do on the civil site and survey arena with just the standard BricsCAD Pro package. It's incredible. I mean, the value add there is staggering. So, I guess, one of the areas, that we have been seeing just huge growth in here at Zentech has been in the 3D BIM and point cloud scanning processes, particularly among our construction clients. And these are areas where we have just learned to lean very heavily on BricsCAD here internally, because I think they have some of the most versatile and easy to use point cloud structures and systems on the market. And BricsCAD just has some amazing tools as well for building out the 3D BIM data after you extract it out from that cloud data. So Julie, what do you think are the best tools or process updates for both BIM and the point cloud arenas is what I'm trying to say. Doesn't want to work in V24.
For point clouds, it would be the point cloud classifier. So now it's possible to classify the points of a point cloud and use the classifications in the point cloud manager. Previously, we could read those classifications that were done with the HSPC format, but now with 24, we can actually do some of that classifying as well. And within the BIM tools, a lot of improvements and new features include new tools for drawing in BIM. We've got BIM column and roof tools. We've made some updates and improvements to the way to generate walls. So the quick wall command has now been incorporated right into the generalized BIM wall command. So really easy to draw walls within point clouds. That really works very nicely. And we've made improvements to managing and creating construction details. So it's now with the detail manager. And probably the biggest that a lot of people have been asking for is it is now possible to export the BricsCAD BIM model as a Revit project file, an RVT. Now, this is a first and beta implementation. And with this, the entities are exported as classified direct shapes. So think geometry only. And then on mechanical, we've also had quite a few improvements there. Again, focusing on closing that functionality gap between our BricsCAD mechanical and that other 2D mechanical product. So that includes the AM part list to create a parts list and place it in the drawing, and AM part ref, which creates a part reference, and you can also place that in the drawing. And I think one of the other really nice improvements and new features is the assembly inspection tools. So that would allow a technical illustrator to convert 3D designs from the engineers into detailed 2D assembly or maintenance documents and animations. Now, this is using the same tools and models that the engineering teams use. So, remember, this is all built on native DWG, whether it's your 2D drafting, 3D, civil, BIM, or mechanical. It's all based on DWG.
Which is huge, right? Having a single file format that you can do literally anything in is incredible, right? And that's good. I mean, because I was actually going to ask you that, right? One of the questions that I kind of had on tap for you here was in that mechanical space, which is, I've noticed that, it's been getting a lot of attention, right? The BricsCAD mechanical, not that you guys ignored it earlier, but over the last couple of releases, you guys have really put a lot of effort into that. And it's not really a focus for us. We don't do a ton of mechanical work here at BricsCAD, or at BricsCAD, at Zentech. I say, a lot of the tools that I've seen, are really intriguing and really cool. And the question I was going to ask you, right, you kind of answered, I think, a little bit of it. What were the best tools that people can look for in that mechanical space? Any others you want to pop in there?
Well, overall, the goal was to make it more on par with that other 2D mechanical program. So, we can do a lot of what they can do in 2D, but also we can do it in 3D. So we can do the 3D assemblies. It's just keeping that similarity and familiarity there. But yeah, there's quite a big improvement in that, as well as the power dimensions. That's another thing. We now have the ability to do power dimensions, so you can do all of those types of things as well.
Yeah, it's got some great tools in there. All right, so Rocco, kind of let me skip back a minute to something I wanted to ask you, which is and really I guess more in terms of the scanning and BIM space. What industries are you seeing the fastest growth in that in terms of our client base, right? And do you think there's anything in particular that's kind of driving that?
Yeah, it's mostly within construction. I mean, there's always been, people in architecture that have been interested in following all this, but I don't talk to a lot of people that are doing a tremendous amount of scanning. I'd say mostly in construction, and I think part of the reason why we're seeing it because we're involved with Matterport and Matterport services these days. But I think part of the reasoning as well is that there's just there's the industry's so busy, and so folks within construction are just looking for better technology. to keep up with all the changes that are going on. And so that's why there's an interest in products like BricsCAD BIM and the scanning services that we're offering.
Yeah, and I will say that, on our end, like Ragnar said, we're involved now with the the laser scanning and the 3D photogrammetry, and then extracting that out for kind of a scanned BIM process, and we use BricsCAD for that, and it works really nicely. It's a great little add-in. They work well together. So, okay, so all right, folks. So, as always, whenever we have a guest on, I like to give them the last opportunity, right, to tell us something about today's topic that I was too dumb to know I should ask. So, Julie, what about it? What other features or processes in this V24 release should everybody know about?
Well, I think BricsCAD version 24 is the best BricsCAD ever. So I think that is something that your listeners should know. If they have any hesitation of why should they maybe upgrade to 24, there's just so many reasons, because it is our best release ever.
Okay, that's a definite plus. Being the best is always good, right? Kind of like our show. And with that, we'll get out of here before Julie has a stroke laughing at me. All right. But before I do, Julie, I just want to say thank you again for taking the time to be here with us. It's always a pleasure when you're on the show.
It's always fun for me too.
All right, folks, we're going to get out of here, and we'll catch you next time on the Cattle Call Podcast. All right, everybody, today's Cattle Call was brought to you courtesy of Zentech Consultants. That's Rocco and I. Zentech Consultants works with design and manufacturing firms to help our clients purchase and implement the software that they need in these complex industries. We provide a single point of contact for clients to buy, develop, and learn the most vital software systems for your specific needs. Zentech strives to be your trusted technology partner from your initial needs all the way through long-term support and training for your entire staff. So Rocco, why don't you tell them how to reach out to Zentech?
All right, yeah, you can reach out to us through zentechconsultants.net. You can email us at sales@zentechconsultants.net, or you can even call us 866-824-4459.
Excellent. We look forward to hearing from you all.